Hi, I'm Kathleen Reitz and welcome to my channel. Today I have a very special demo for you. I'm going to be demoing an impressionistic floral painting inspired by the holiday season. I absolutely love the mood this time of year and the color palette and the colors that I've had in my studio for the past few weeks inspired this painting. As you can see, it's got these gorgeous lush pink colors, burgundy, green, white. It's such a beautiful, special color palette. It feels so romantic to me. I'll be listing the products that I use and the colors in the description box below this video. So if you're curious about what I've used to create this painting, you can just check that out below this video. And then also I will have links in the box as well to get some of those supplies for yourself. I hope that everybody has a beautiful and safe holiday season. And I just want to thank you for your support of my channel this year. And I can't wait to bring you more creative content next year. Thank you for watching. For those who are curious what my palette looks like and how I set it up, today I'm going to be using a limited palette, as I often do. So up in the right corner, I have the color Unbleached Titanium. Next to it is Quinacridone Magenta. There's Payne's Gray, Van Dyke Red, and Green Gold. And those are colors that I use most often. This is my glazing liquid over here. I have a number 12 filbert brush. I have this fun silicone tool here, and another one, of course, my Catalyst silicone wedge. I'm starting my painting on a 14-inch by 14-inch canvas. I've mixed together some Payne's Gray, Unbleached Titanium, some Quinacridone Magenta, and some Van Dyke Red. At this point, I haven't mixed any mediums with my paint. I'm just applying it directly onto my canvas. I've decided that for my background, I want the bottom half of the canvas to be a little bit lighter than the top half. I want to give it an ombre effect, so I'm working on blending these colors together well. Now it's time to start applying my greenery, which I do using my Catalyst silicone wedge. For my greenery, I'm using green gold, some unbleached titanium, and Payne's Gray. And here I'm working on creating some stems for my bouquet. Adding these early helps me to plan out my composition. If I know where my stems are and how much room they need to take up, then I can figure out how big or small I want the rest of my bouquet to be without it getting out of control. Mixing different shades of green and applying them at this point gives my painting depth already. And the limited color palette gives the painting harmony. Now I'm beginning to apply some of my floral elements. So the colors that I used were Quinacridone Magenta, Van Dyke Red, and Unbleached Titanium. And I love Quinacridone Magenta. I use it all the time, but it's a very cool color. So that Van Dyke Red will warm it up a little bit. And here I'm applying much more of that Van Dyke Red and Quinacridone Magenta without as much of the Unbleached Titanium. Notice that I'm constantly working around my canvas and just blocking in these floral elements, not getting too caught up in the details. This is how I create balance in my painting and keep it throughout the entire process. It's worth noting that the colors that I'm using in my flowers are the same colors that I used in my background, just in different proportions. So whereas my background was much more toned down, These flowers now seem to just pop off the canvas because they're quite a bit more saturated than my background. Also, adding a little bit of Payne's gray into that background color toned it down nicely so that it doesn't compete with the colors of the foreground. And because I used Payne's gray also in the greenery for this painting, the colors of this painting have a very harmonious feel. Now I've switched to my filbert brush and I've mixed up a glaze of unbleached titanium and glazing liquid. And I'm just going around the canvas now to soften the bouquet and have the edges of it fade more into the canvas. And the paint in my flowers is still fairly wet, so I can drag that paint outward and really diffuse the edges of my flowers. At this point, I realized I wanted a more crisp white, so I brought in some titanium white onto my color palette as well. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Not only will you receive notifications every time I put out a new video, but also it'll help others to discover my videos and my channel as well, which helps my channel to grow and reach new audiences. My painting process really consists of quite a bit of layering. So I'll put down some of my colors, then I'll go in and diffuse my edges with a brush and then go back in and layer in some more color and go back in, diffuse some of the edges with my brush. And it's a process of just going back and forth. It takes a lot of patience to build up layers, but I think the effect in the end is worth it. For the shadows of my greenery, I have mixed a little bit of Van Dyke red with that green gold and Payne's gray. This is one of the darkest colors in my painting, but it's also very rich and it's giving my painting the dimension that I want without feeling dull or drab. Now I'm using a lighter and more saturated green that I've mixed using green gold and unbleached titanium. Now I'm adding a transparent layer of Quinacridone magenta and Van Dyke red. And even though it's very saturated and warm, it still works with the painting because these are the same colors that I've used throughout the rest of the painting. Now I'm going in with a glaze I've made consisting of glazing liquid, Quinacridone magenta, and unbleached titanium. And my goal here is just to brighten up the painting a little bit while adding dimension to the background. And here I'm just adding my finishing touches, creating a feeling of atmosphere in my painting. And I've decided to bring some cooler tones into the flowers using Quinacridone magenta and unbleached titanium, this time omitting Van Dyke red. Here is my finished painting inspired by these beautiful flowers of the holiday season. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time, and as always, happy painting!